Unfortunately, I ran away at the wrong time and we ended up missing the first round. That means that we're going to be seeing things from the actions point onwards. Valiance losing the pistol round and the subsequent round. Spirit starting things off strong on a map that I personally am expecting to go to Valiance. We're thinking that this is going to go all the 3 games because, let's be honest, Valiance on Mirage, it's a fantastic combination. But Spirit, they've shown some interesting things on Inferno. They've shown some interesting dimensions to their play with their new additions to the team that we haven't seen before. So Valiance, they've got to be careful, but right now they've got to be a little bit hopeful as well. This is when their full buy starts to come through. Spirit on the other side do have the AWB for Disbalance. Disbalance had a fantastic game for those of you who weren't able to tune into the first map. Was it? Well, it was an absolute banger of a map, though. Let's be real. 28-26 for the end score. Countless highlights, none of which were posted onto Reddit, unfortunately. I'm looking at you, Twitch chat. Early mid control from Valiance to be how they start things off. There is Disbalance playing from window, who hasn't actually been smoked off. They've gone for the crossing smoke instead. They might want to end up taking this duel, but without an AWP of their own, this could be problematic. Disbalance saw that player who was jumping up, but I'm pretty sure Letney saw him as well. That's why he ended up smoking off the window. Spirit with a 1-0 map advantage are looking to close things out in a quicker fashion than perhaps they started. And they've got good utility right now to be able to maintain this lead. Coldy getting a bit more aggressive. It seems like Valiance have chosen to go towards the A site, and this is where Samdai Young becomes a major factor. They've already got Chopper playing from inside the ladder room, so he can be providing some very quick assistance from Connector or from jungle as well. But the main man himself will be Coldy with the AUG, who's pushing forward. He knows there's players coming over. Letney was flashed up by his own teammate, but Coldy does end up getting taken down. Chopper now playing the long-range angle from Connector, looking out for Hunter, takes him down from the side. That means that they're perfectly safe from Connector, and they know it. Samdai Young can just peek through for 2. Leaves Nexa and Otto alone versus 4. And well, Nexa's even more lonely than Otto. Otto's a bit too far away to be able to help out his teammate particularly much, but that means that his teammate's brought down and he's left versus 4. Otto, the hero of the first map, almost being able to pull it through for Valiance. Right now, though, overwhelmed and underwhelming. 3-0. Spirit looking good on their CT side. Coldy. This time around, he's got the M4. Interesting how he's actually varying it up between the M4 and the AUG. I kind of want to see whether this is a decision against some ecos, which would be very good because the M4, of course, does a lot more damage versus ecos. The armor penetration of the AUG is much better, which is why the damage seems to be more, but actually the M4 is pretty good versus ecos in comparison, so would be an interesting differentiation. Would also like to see whether or not, if he was playing against a full buy, if he would push the same angle that he did towards ramp, because it seems like that's an angle where the AUG should be coming to fruition, where it can get that one-shot headshot, but the M4 is not quite able to do the exact same thing. So if he's a type of player who can play with both of those guns, that's what I'm interested in seeing. How that materializes within the game itself. Disbalance. The quick one onto Hunter. Valiance haven't really been able to get those deagle shots in that they're famous for. Esperanto's very good with it, so he's hoping to be able to take down Samdai Young, but Samdai Young holding the off angle was a bit too quick. So far, only Otto is able to come through with a single kill. And I mean, looking over towards the scoreboard, Softic, he's 0-0-0 right now. There's not a lot of games where you see that 4 rounds in. Not a single assist, not a single kill or a death. He's got no contribution. He is a ghost on this map, and that is problematic for the side of Valiance, because they're basically losing 5 versus 4 in that case. Softic is not even getting flashbang assists at this point. Coldy from the CT spawn. AG at long range, looking for 2, only finds 1. That was a full buy coming out from Valiance, and they were hoping to be able to get a few quick kills, but the damage has been done. They've lost 1 and a lot of damage with grenades and shots coming through. That means that this bomb plant is going to be a little bit more difficult. There's a gap in that smoke, so this Balance has the chance to be able to capitalize on top of it. Hunter flashes over towards CT spawn. They're taking it slow, but slow is not how they should be going, because this Balance is on the other side with an AWP. Hunter gets another kill, and now he's pushing forward to try and take down the offer. And now he's got the spray down, trying to go through the smoke as well. Putting things onto a very lonely Chopper, as Auden will take down Softic. That'll be his first death of the game. Chopper moving through, but Auden's bullet will be able to move faster. Some die young. 7 kills so far, equaling Chopper's. But Valiance, they were able to shut him down over there near stairs, so his efficacy was limited. Comes down to Chopper now. Playing from connector. If he can just push through over mid and take control that way, because they don't have utility, so they can't rely on control through grenades. And with 1.5 minutes left on the clock and no utility like this, this is looking to be a straight up aim deal. Not something that Poldy seems to be in a great position for. He was able to get 1 kill from the same position in the previous round, but this time around there's not going to be as much of a play coming out from Palace. Good grenade coming through will slow down Letney enough to let Chopper push through the smoke, but Letney wins that duel regardless. Coldy and this Balance quick to respond with 2 across the board. 4 versus, well, never mind, it's a 3 versus 3 now, with Nexa and a quick headshot being able to equalize the numbers. Bomb is still on the ground though, and that gives CTs the advantage. 45 seconds on the clock. Samdai Young with an MP9 close range. If you can throw a grenade over there, that could end up working in their favor, but no grenades needed whatsoever. 1 versus 1 in the end, and he's able to win it out. The trades coming through perfectly from Valiance. Picture perfect textbook play. Every time they lose 1, they take 2 straight back. And I mean, I said Valiance are a team that should be able to clean up the CT, clean up the Mirage map, but they're really relying on their CT side at this point, because Samdai Young and company, they're just absolutely dominating. Spirit with interesting utility usage, throwing the smoke out to be able to pick up the AK-47, prioritizing that over the duration of the incendiary. Coldy getting tagged down through the smoke, but he responds with the AK that he just picked up. 5 versus 2. Letney and Otto. They're feeling the pressure right now. Because remember, even if you can't be reset, you're still losing out a lot of rounds. And that's where money is all fine and well, but at one point or the other, you're going to be considering how many rounds are really left in this terrorist half. You need to get at least 5. Otherwise, Spirit, no matter how fragmented they are, they're bound to be able to get a couple of lucky rounds, and you don't want to start playing them out in a situation of overtime the same way as you did in Inferno. Letney. With 20 seconds left on the clock, he knows he needs to go through quickly, but Otto's taken down already, so now in a 1 versus 5, Letney is going to be soon fall up next, and Softic, playing from the boosted spot inside the site itself, will finish off that round. 6-1, Spirit continue their dominance of the CT side, and well, With the economy being the way it is, Valiance are going to continue to get dominated more likely than not unless they can put a feather in their cap in the form of a force buy victory. Or not a force buy, but a, a partial eco victory. Coldy playing this spot with an AK this time around, so he's got that one-shot potential. Flashbang comes his way. Smoke actually comes his way, not a flashbang. But good sets of utility being thrown forward. These CTs are playing very safely, playing very carefully, making sure that they can't be overwhelmed by these smokes that have been thrown forward. Somehow Young's able to get a spot out onto the pallets. Follow gets two as well as one drops right into his crosshair. And it will be a clean round to come through from Spirit. 4 players kept alive. Just Valiance and Coldy to clean up the last few players. Valiance not even able to waste the utility coming out from Chopper either. So Valiance going for these fast plays, eco round plays, end up costing them in the way that Spirit don't actually have to use all of their utility early in. They don't have to spend as much money going into the next round. So their economy is a little bit stronger just because of that. So Sumdai Young right now, well, he can be a little bit safer because of that. They are playing a bit more aggressive this time around from B short. They want to take catwalk control early in, but that's a result of Valiance having 3 players down in mid. Coldy's already taken down Nexa, who always plays over towards the palace area. Hunter is next to find his way onto the scoreboard. 4 versus 4, though, and Otto is going to be taking the advantage soon enough. The AWP dominating the middle of the map. He's been very good this series, but not quite the same amount as we see traditionally. Now, this is where Coldy starts to step out from the ticket booth. He's got 1, got 2 as well. And I'm honestly very interested. Honestly, here's the thing about Valiance's Mirage play. They've got a very specific default, and Nexa always goes aggressively over towards Palace and starts to peek out the second his teammates actually cross that chair mark. So that's where he starts to try and take control of stairs and try and take control of sandwich. If they're realizing this and they're realizing his tendency, then you can very commonly eliminate Nexa early in and get the numbers advantage, which is exactly what's happening right now. Once you've done that, then you know exactly what Valiance are going to be doing in terms of hitting which site in particular. Now, 20 seconds left on the clock, and there's no one on the B site, so that means his bomb should be able to go down at the very least. But Otto, well, he's got the first kill. So a 2 versus 3 very quickly turned into a 2v2. Softic's not got the weaponry for this, though. Smoke comes in. Esperanto might not be checking it because of that. Might feel a bit too confident playing from the other side. If this push comes through, though, he's got a chance to be able to drop down. 44 HP means he's not got too much of a firepower advantage, but Coldy now left alone versus 2. If Otto starts to creep through, this should be a problem for Coldy. Coldy's got the first kill through the wall. He's got the headshot. And now he needs to go for the ace clutch. 1v1. Esperanto's got to take the peak eventually, but he knows that there's not enough time, and Coldy should be able to get the 5th kill, but Esperanto even getting the moral victory and the $300 extra before he goes down to the bomb. Valiance win the round, but lose all their players. Of course, their loss bonus is still particularly good. They've still got a huge degree of money to come through for them every time they end up losing out a round. But Spirit, they're the ones whose economy is looking a little bit problematic. If Valiance can just win this round out, this will be very good for them. But a 1-for-1 trade courtesy of the Flames. Hunter gets taken down, and now it's all up to Coldy. He's playing the same spot that he did earlier on. Coldy needs to smoke off this Molotov. Now needs to start pushing through as well. He knows that they're on the other side. Actually ends up getting some ground onto scaffolding. Otto's found 1 kill in the meanwhile. Coldy thinking of pushing out. Wary of flashes, though. Does he realize there's a man behind him? Doesn't seem like it. 2 versus 4. And this might be the cue for these CTs to start to save. But with Softic going down and Chopper in close inside the jungle area, he will just be hunted down. Letney gets that kill. Valiance, now they've put Spirit onto a point of no return. Now they've put Spirit onto a point where Valiance should be able to get the 5th round at the very least. 2 rounds in a row, Spirit should be forced to eco. They don't have enough money to be able to buy up an AWP in the next round unless Chopper ends up being the one who's dropping it. And if he does that, he won't have armor or utility. So nothing short of a couple of kills onto Ida's Balance will guarantee them an AWP in the next round. Of course, if he... Oh, never mind. He picked himself a Zeus. I don't actually know the kill bonus for a Zeus. I'm very curious about that. I know it's not like 500 or 600, though. So all he's going to be trying to do is pick up a gun for the next round. And it's not a bad strategy. I mean, if you can pick up a gun, then your team can technically buy without an AWP. It's not the biggest of deals. And there are a lot of Zeus spots in the map to try and work around with. This is one of the good ones in particular. Of course, Zeus was nerfed to fix a glitch where you can no longer Zeus people through walls. Not that that's something he would have been trying to do. Coldy, smoked off. They're going over towards this B site from Catwalk. Clearing out every angle as well. There was a 4-man stack on Ace. They have made the right decision. Chopper ends up keeping himself alive. This Balance is repositioning himself with that Zeus to make sure that if there's anyone coming over from the apartments area, they could be the ones who fall victim to it instead. But what? Okay, never mind. He doesn't even want to use the Zeus anymore. And instead, he's trying to go through long range. Nexa and Letney have found a few. Waiting for the Zeus, expecting them to retreat back through the apartments, although they've already revealed their intention of going towards A to hunt these last few players. Samda Young gets a beautiful few headshots, though. Does he have a chance? He has a chance. He could actually go for the defuse. Can they come back in time is the question. It seems like they can. Letney was not quite negligent enough to leave the bomb in a position where he couldn't go for the immediate removal of anyone coming through for a ninja behind. So valiant effort nonetheless, but it doesn't capitalize at the end of the day. Now, no kits, utility almost absent. And Spirit are making the mistake of not going for a half buy in this round, because if they lose this one, remember, their money isn't there. They don't have full loss bonus, and even if they did, it doesn't matter. So Valiance should technically be able to come to a 6-7 scoreline off the back of this. So where Spirit was on perfect route to try and take this into a 10-5 half, suddenly things are looking much more in favor of Valiance. They have gone back to a similar setup where Nexa is, as always, over towards Palace, though. So if he can be exploited, then you've still got yourself a chance. But it's not the exact same setup that you normally see coming out. Samdai Young, though, taken out too early. Nexa was able to white beak him out. And that means that it all comes down to Coldy and this Balance playing from the CT spawn. They've both got one apiece. The smoke will not need to come through. Actually, the smoke isn't even there from Coldy. He's just very lucky that the flame doesn't spread towards his feet. 2 versus 4 Esperanto. He's trying to provide some cover fire towards his teammate, but he's the one with the bomb, and the bomb is lost, and Otto's life with it. 8-4, Team Spirit keep 4 players alive, as well as taking the AWP into the next round. And this is the big one from the terrorist side now, actually, because they're going to end up spending a lot of their money. Now, they can still buy up in the next round if they get a bomb plant down. If I'm not wrong, they need to get a bomb plant and save 2 guns, but that is a tough ask. That is a tough ask indeed. Nexa changed up his position a little bit. He's still playing over towards the A side, though. Nexa perpetually lurking at A. Nexa plays his position actually very similar to Rop's. I was, before the Mouse Sports roster move was announced, I was actually working on an article where I was thinking of Nexa replacing out Rop's potentially, because Rop's hadn't been really performing particularly well recently. Of course, that was assuming that they keep the core to be similar and only replacing out 1 player. Maybe 2 if you want to lose Sunny as well, because of internal disputes. But that never ended up materializing, and neither did Nexa's attempts at breaking the A site. Goldie takes him down, and now on to the B site they go. Esperanto with a flash forward will try to take control. There's a man inside benches. That's Softic, but Softic's overtaken and overwhelmed, and Letney is able to overdo his teammates by coming through and taking down Chopper. They are still fighting it out, though. Samdayang getting a crucial kill to give them a small chance, and Letney's HP being as low as it is gives them another one. But Otto, well, he's raining down fire from the heavens. Apartments will be where he has his abode. And from there, from that vantage point, he just ends up sniping apart everyone. Despite the quick win that Spirit was able to get, all they do is actually, interestingly enough, looking over towards the loss bonus, the fact that they won the previous round actually put them in a position where they're still resettable. So where I thought resets were going to be almost impossible, this is practically a reset coming out from Team Spirit. Now, they're not going to have enough money to be able to buy up for the next round, which is a very major factor, despite winning the round before this one. The Valiance, again, they're still in a... This is the perfect point for them to take this to an 8-7. They've got one more gun round in Team Spirit after this, so that's what they're going to play for, and rightfully so. Coldy with an M4 will try to minimize the amount of money that Valiance can pull through up next. Boosting up as well. Short. Samdayang gets taken down. Coldy trying to play a close range angle. They've got 3 players with the crossfire down towards mid. This balance with some good damage onto Auden. Goes forward aggressively, peeks out, but Auden responds with a quick one. Letney able to take down Coldy as well. So that's the M4 gone to the hands of one without armor, and that man without armor is very weak indeed. Chopper, P250 and a dream. This dream, well, it's not going to be coming to fruition anytime soon. 8-6 Valiance. Now it's time for them to fight for 7. And Spirit will struggle with their double op setup to make sure that Valiance can't even get onto a site. There will be no kits, there will be no helmets, and there will be almost no utility on the side of Spirit. Only 2 of their players having respectable mount. This balance. Almost getting the shot. Otto takes one down. That will be a great way to start things off. Pushing through the smoke, getting the number advantage, and Hunter getting some information over towards B as well. This early in a round, he can just retreat back if he wants to. Chopper, M4 at the ready, peeks out, knows that there's a gun barrel sticking through, and that means Otto's right around the corner. Otto expected some backup to come through in the form of Letney and Esperanto, who are down in mid with him, but it doesn't end up working out for them. Nexa getting one as well. Now 3 versus 4. Samdayang getting desperate, trying to find one more. Letney taken down, and it will be a 3v3. With the clock ticking down, though, the bomb has been planted. Or rather, is being planted. Retakes have not been their strong point, and without having a kit, that is going to be even truer than ever. Moving through, Chopper, close range duel on his way. He's got the duel win, and now they start to move in for more. There is a player over towards A main. They've got some utility as well. Next to come through from the side, and now it's a 1v1. Chopper has gotten 3 kills so far. Can he make it 4 is the question. Esperanto won't be peeking out in time. Beautiful shot. It's a 1-tap to close out the round, but he's not got enough time to be able to win this out. 6 seconds on the clock, 5 seconds, and this bomb will definitely end up blowing. 8-7, and Valiance takes the half back. Now, that being said, I think we've got someone joining us right now who was forced to leave a little bit earlier on. Topical, are you here? I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
How you doing, tea time?
I'm doing much better now that you're back.
Oh, dude. Thanks for carrying that half. It's rough. Solo fast. I know how that feels. But I had a meeting, had to step away. We're back into it. What did I miss? The closeout of map 1 went to what? OT4, and then it went into like the last round of that OT for a threatening OT5 or something.
Something amazing. We're just gonna very quickly dip out of the call and jump back into it, though, guys. We're gonna be back very soon. Just some audio issues that are going on that we need to fix on our ends. All right. We actually need to restart the call, so we're all gonna do that. Right back. Yeah,
no, I think we'll just put a picture in. We don't need live feed of me. I mean, with the picture, I mean, we could Photoshop it, make it look really good, rather than having my UGG face presented to everybody. You know, making everybody cringe.
Look, man, I'm not gonna lie. You look better on your camera than you did on your Twitter picture. So maybe get some of that Photoshop going over there as well.
Yeah, right. That Twitter picture, I may or may not have been inebriated.
Well, I'm gonna take your word for it. You look like you're at an event, and we all know what they say about talent at events.
They say terrorists win. That's what I just heard. It was like perfect timing.
Okay.
Like, game. That terrorists win when you said, you know what happens at the terrorists win. So we got an even half. I thought from what you had said, it sounded like Valiance and Co. This was their jam, like on Mirage.
Their jam. I mean, they ended up losing out a lot early on, but once they started to pick up some steam, they got a bit more working for them. Valiance just completely started to steamroll through, and Spirit was showing weakness when it came to retaking very often. So that flexibility that we saw in Inferno across 50 odd maps, that kind of expired heading into this one. Let's just put it that way.
All right. So we have as even a scoreline as can be at the end of the first half. Valiance and Co. fighting from behind. How did the first half play out? Was it a neck-and-neck battle the whole way, or
6-1 and then 8-7? So you know how that
so
goes.
Another one of those. That's pretty much what happened in the second half for Team Spirit on Inferno. So if that ship has already started to sail, Valiance and Co. are probably starting to have some flashbacks to this, and it could get a bit messy. Right now, Valiance and Co. are playing with the 4 armor 1 kit, that being Hunter, at the absolute center of the map. He'll come out of the window room, and it's essentially a retake strategy. Everybody's abandoned off of the site and is harassing fire, but only 1 round in harassment goes right between the eyes of Chopper. 1 bomb planted, 1 man down as Valiance and Co. set up for the retake. There's nobody really a threat to Squatfic right now. He's up in the apartments, but everybody else beneath him is dying. So if it comes down to Squatfic up in the apartments, it'd be very, very difficult to do, even though he's in a superior position. It ends up just being a really routine retake, very clean and designed to be that clean for Valiance.
And those were some gorgeous shots coming out from Hunter. I mean, just the first one, the second one as well, just immediately flicking over towards the side, finding the head like it's nobody's business. Beautiful stuff from Valiance. Pardon me. Starting to loosen out the cords a little bit, but Spirit, they've got the Deagles, they've got the P250s. Not very much they can do in this round beyond just kind of hope and dream and pray. But that's where Esperanto, well, he wants to clamp down on that prayer. He wants to clamp down the hope and clamp down on the dreams.
Spirit, they have pistols here. If we remember way back on Inferno, it was actually a similar situation where you had some kills, you had a bomb plant, and you ended up getting a buy in the second round for the T side. It's not going to come this way. Instead, Team Spirit are going to bow out of this round so they can have better utility when the rifles are in the round to back them up. Because, rifles all great and fancy, but if you don't have smokes and you're peeking dry into a site, you're probably going to lose some of those players that don't even get a good look at any CTs to use those expensive guns. So, though Valiance and Co. are starting to farm up, especially with the MP7 from Nexa, he'll make a little bit of extra cash, but, this might be a miscue from Valiance and Co. They've got 3 players committed to A, with a 4th being in the window. This leaves a solo defender on B, and I thought Spirit was going to actually make a shift towards that weaker site, which could net them another extra $800 for a plant, but now they've got players that are starting to fall as Squatfic and Chopper left alone, both wounded. But like a cornered animal, Chopper at top mid, 1 Deegs Hunter.
Well, fingers crossed that this cornered animal keeps on fighting, because he's got 3 so far and it could be more, but the 4th will stop anything from coming through. I think I've got something stuck in my throat. I might have to take like a few second break after this round. First gun round on its way. Good few kills from Chopper will allow him to actually end up dropping an AWP rather for his teammates. So this Balance will have one of those. He drops an AK for Chopper, so that means Chopper's got no utility, but 4 of their players on a full buy. That is something I'm more than happy with for this round. Chopper starting off strong, regardless of utility. Disbalance as well, saying thank you for the AWP in the best way that he possibly could have done by taking down Auto.
This Valiance and Co, like losing those 2 players in mid led me to believe that they had money to burn. They had money in excess, that they were just looking for an aggro strat that upset Team Spirit before they could set up for an execute. Instead, they lose those 2 players, and I look at their economy. They can't afford to lose those 2 players willy-nilly. Now the 2 that are left standing, that being Nexa and Hunter on this A site, actually have to make a really strong stand. Hunter backed up against the wall just shy of jungle, is unable to make it, and Nexa barely even makes eye contact with Squatfix, who is getting the kills. So it's just letting me left alone. We've seen him in a 1v3 before. This would have been a 1v4, but he's so wounded at this point. He doesn't have the intel on the remaining players that are so wounded that he has a chance here, though as slim as it may be. He's coming back to reposition, but yeah, he'll turn left. Hard to port and hold on to his M4. Like I said, the money for Valiance isn't all that great. This M4 is likely the best thing that they've got going for him in this next round.
And we're back to neck and neck. We've seen this before, but, you know, slightly different. It's not like it's a one-sided affair every time we switch sides. This is a little bit closer. So good for Spirit that they can keep these players alive, and they have to make sure that that continues to happen because their money needs to be set up. I actually, so interestingly enough, in the previous half, I saw an actual reset, even in the new economy, which is not something you see very often.
Really? How was that?
There were just a streak of players just not really having enough players left alive. So yeah.
Not enough players left alive. I'm not familiar with this scenario. I'd have to see it to believe it.
It was weird. It was weird. Don't get me wrong. So when you're winning out clutch after clutch, then and you're winning out a couple of these rounds here and there, you end up just being on 2-round loss bonus even so. So it's just it wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie. That ended up being what unraveled Spirit, and right now Esperanto's Deagles are doing the same. Chopper does respond, but this was a kill we were looking for. This was the additional one, but there's still Auto playing close range, and that is too close for comfort. Someday Young does end up going down, and it will be Letney to respond with another.
So did the pistols do enough in this round? And so far, I'd say yes. Letney, who had the M4 from the previous round, is still hanging on to it. And all these pistols have done is actually get an equal trade, almost even taking advantage of that. In fact, even more so because Coldie's at 5 HP. So I think that might be enough. Even though Letney leaving this A site out of connector, going out through the underpass, can Hunter just do a little bit more? Can he be the one that ends Coldie's life, or even just doing damage to Chopper? Be favorable if he could kill Coldie, leaving it to a healthy 1v1 rather than even a wounded 1v2. It's not as good. But the T's have made it to the site. Hunter hears the smokes rattling around. It's going to be a long ways for Letney to get here. CZ at point blank range kills the healthy player. That's an amazing trade. Bomb in hand, and Coldie's going to be sprinting past Letney. Who hears it first? They both hear each other, and they both pump fake. Letney has to come back through A main, so actually this will favor Coldie for a short moment. He fakes the plant once. Letney thinks about rounding the corner. He holds a wide angle on this one. Coldie goes for the default plant, and Letney plays it perfect. Now he rounds the corner. A disarmed and wounded Coldie is extinguished. Excellently played by Letney, but really even better played by the rest of the team. That was nearly a team ace. Esperanto, Hunter, and Auto all got kills with their pistols, making that easier for the rifle.
Funnily enough, we might see a second reset. They don't have any money at all on Valiance. Team Spirit just got mad money from that bomb plant. That means they've got a proper full buy. If you lose this round as Valiance, you're reset right there and then. You have 0 loss bonus right now, literally 0 loss bonus. This is classic reset coming through potentially. I really hope we get to see this because Spirit, well, they performed so well in that previous round right there, but unfortunately just not able to close it through. Chopper naded down early in. They've got good utility and they're going to be trying to use it to their advantage to make sure that Valiants are pushed into the corner over towards A. They know that there's no AWPs out on the CT side at the very least.
Hunter holds cat. The T's hold mid. And Hunter has an MP5. There are plenty of smokes around him. In fact, the Molotov pushes him off. 25 damage, not bad, paired with the flashbang to prevent him from knowing that he was getting all hot and heavy up there. but Team Spirit abandoned mid completely. I thought Hunter could have actually been quite useful, even though at range with the MP5 is not all that great. They can't tell where he's coming from. Team Spirit go for what could be a very classic A strike, but look at their utility. No smokes. It's flashes and maybe a Molotov for under Palace. This is going to get really difficult for Spirit. Even though it's 5v5, it's essentially dry. Nexa at default position, spots 2, does damage, but he's still trying to find cover. Can't find it in time, cannot weather that storm. Esperanto gets the shot against Squatfic. That was full credit for the kill. I don't know if there was an assist in there, but it was instantaneous to the face. 4 survive against the 2 of Valiance and Co. So even though it was difficult to get in, Spirit have managed to do so quite well, considering the circumstances. It's a safe call.
That's a lot of kills being lost that probably shouldn't have been. Esperanto, I mean, beautiful shot from him, don't get me wrong, but that should have been a kill. Letnia as well, who was able to, who missed like 4 shots before getting the kill onto Coldy, was able to stay alive despite those are not sprayed shots, they're tapped shots as well at long range. So that should be something you get any day of the week, especially with the vantage point from Palace onto CT. However, you know, they're keeping 3 of their players alive. Hopefully, I don't know if Samdai Young can actually keep himself alive. Okay, barely does it. 2 HP on him. So, 10 to 10, score has been equalized. Team Spirit not quite ready to relinquish a big lead yet, which is good to see. But now Valiance going for what is going to be a bit of a quasi buy around those 2 guns. Actually, no, full force buy around those 2 guns. Otto, the only one who's actually saving up to be able to get the double off. They know they have to double save after this anyways. Like I said, man, classic reset coming through over here. Otto with the Molotov, preventing him from actually pushing through. The scout will be problematic in this angle. However, Spirit might just end up feeding straight into him.
Valiance and Co are actually running on fumes right now, as it may be. One thing they've got going for them right now is Letney's position. He's off angle in the kitchen. There comes Samdai Young. He is down, and he's actually can hand a rifle over to his team. He recovers a Molotov too. Extra rifle here for Hunter. He'll be happy to upgrade there. And Team Spirit might double down on this. If they double down on this towards this B site, and they end up running into the 2 strongest rifles that are in play for Valiance and Co. 2 AKs.
Especially with Hunter's positioning the way it is, you almost never check this angle. You can almost always get a couple of kills from here. And indeed, he at least gets a lot of information, even if kills are a little bit more delayed. Softic will go down, but it's up to Hunter. That means Coldy and Chopper are able to respond very quickly. 3 versus 3. And utility in the favor of Team Spirit. Firepower in the favor of Team Spirit.
Oh, he didn't see him.
But
Esperanto walked right past. There was a player on Cat. He didn't see him. There was a T free for the picking. He'll get the first. Maybe somebody that was on dead cam knows it, and they do. They make the call. Quick retake. How fortunate. It may have been fortunate that Esperanto didn't see him on catwalk. That is interesting, because if he takes that first player down, Spirit react accordingly for a trade. Instead, he gets himself deeper into the site, takes a more difficult player first, and essentially unintentionally has trigger discipline.
That is a round that could have gone very, very wrong for Valiance, but they will take whatever victory they can get. With 3 players kept alive as well, their money will be a little bit more secure. At the very least, enough to be able to get another buyout. Speaking of money being secure, that's something that we really can't say about Team Spirit, because they right now are on 3 rifles, 2 deagles, and utility enough to fill 1 person's pockets, pretty much.
Esperanto sees again. He always in these positions where he can spot some T's, but slow to react. That actually loses Nexa his life. He's having a rough game so far, it feels like. Just bad positions. But Esperanto capitalizes. This dude's going nuts right now. Looking for the next one. Chopper over the top of the default box keeps them in the game. Otherwise, it would have been a 3v1. It's 2v2 right now. Bomb planted at default. Molotov pushing him away from the firebox. Hunter gets that kill. Scottfic last up. Flashbang behind him. He's not phased by this one. And Letney on the flank takes him down.
No, okay. I was so confused for a second where he was coming from.
I saw the flash assist, and I was like, maybe he got flash killed right there.
That's what I thought too, because I'm still not used to the flash assist yet. I was just wondering, how did a flashbang kill him? He was at 100 HP. Anyway, Valiance is this is what I was talking about. They're getting into that point where they just start burning up a storm. Esperanto hitting those shots the way he was, and their setup's just working out pretty much every single way. The only thing Spirit have got going for them is exactly what you said. Nexa isn't having a good game, and on Mirage, this is one of their star players. Nexa is one of their strongest players when it comes to aggression on Mirage, and so far Spirit haven't fallen prey to that, but even that could end up changing towards the end of this map.
Otto is scoped in right now on top of Catwalk, and he got skittish there. I think he realized someone was beneath him. He started to back off without unscoping, so he had a chance. Nice nade that comes in. That'll do a little bit of chip damage to Chopper and Squadfic. And it's a boost versus boost. And it was, in fact, Otto that was very vulnerable against a couple of the Deagles. He may have been taken down up there if he didn't get that shot off and fall off quickly. Chopper getting a 1 Deag back, and we've seen him do this before. God, it was probably 4 rounds ago, where they were on Deagles, and Chopper was able to take a couple players down. But still, Team Spirit gonna swim around in mid. Got a headshot in there, but still letting you alive and kicking a couple of the Spirit players to the curb. 3v4 right now, not a bad spot for Spirit considering the CTs have to split their defense. So essentially you're seeing a man advantage for Spirit on either site that they choose.
Could even be more if they actually rotate back towards A. This is where Esperanto's making his way down to mid, so they could actually overwhelm one over there. Esperanto scouted a man out. I don't know if he was able to see Esperanto as well, though. That's the question. Esperanto again. They're just missing him again and again and again. Esperanto, this man. Somebody kicked James Bond off of MI7 because they've got... You know what? Forget Idris Elba. Forget everyone who's been floated around to be the next James Bond. This man is ready. He is sneaky. He is undetectable. And he actually gets the job done, so I guess never mind. He can't be James Bond.
Can't be James Bond anymore?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, okay? James Bond goes, he's not sneaky at all. He calls himself a spy. He goes and tells everyone exactly who he is and why he's there. And he ends up finding the best looking girl he can at a party. And then that's pretty much the end of the story.
Okay, all right. Things are starting to get out of hand a bit with Valiance and Co. against Spirit. It looked like Spirit were in command themselves, and so far they've lost a couple of these entries, and still they're really scattered. They are all over the map right now. One in A main, one in Palace, one at top mid, and SDY is in connector. So it's going to be a wrap onto the A site, and they spring the trap. Now they'll do late utility, which is fantastic because they didn't have much to spend. Although Disbalance had 4 grenades and he dies with all 4 in hand. And a great grenade. What a toss from Hunter. He bangs it off the side into the corner pocket. That'll get a bonus frag, and it's 2v2 all of a sudden. So even though they had a great little entry right there on a spring attack, Spirit have kind of run out of gas. Now both players up in the Palace will try their approach.
This is a big round for Spirit. If they can't win this one out, Valiance is in a perfect position to take it to match point, and 5 consecutive match points is a bit much to ask for Spirit. Otto, ooh, good grenade as well. Almost takes him down. The Molotov should be able to finish him off. The smoke will not be enough, and there you go. Utility 101 right there. Hunter coming in from behind, but Coldie's expecting this. Oh no, Coldie turned around at the completely incorrect time, and that means Hunter can take him down. Very lucky from him. Very unlucky from Coldie, even getting the immediate moving headshot. The Molotov as well, forcing Softic out of position.
Oh, he's not gonna
Softic has to get the headshot. Is he not checking? Did he shift walk?
He had no
What is
idea.
happening over here?
He had no idea. Like, as soon as that molly was thrown, Hunter just assumed that he would have fallen back because Hunter heard the headshot, and he just lobs that molly through and then takes cover so that he can shoulder his rifle. But in that fraction of a second that he pulled back to pull his rifle up, that's when Squadfic was able to escape. He went right underneath Palace, and Hunter had no idea that in that fraction of a second that he took his eyes off default box, that he escaped.
26 kills on Coldie, man. This guy's been drinking whatever Otto had before the first map, and well, let's just say that he might have just stolen it away from Otto, because Otto has not had anywhere near the lights out performance he did in the first map. Nowhere near that 50 bomb that he pulled out of nowhere in Inferno. Funnily enough, both teams at 1 round of loss bonus apiece. This is as close as can be. 2 AWPs on Valiance, though. They're the ones who...
Look at this top-heavy buy from Valiant.
Yeah, exactly.
Double op,
like,
double MP9 pistol.
And a CZ to finish things off.
Dude, this is
it's
such...
Like, they're the 1%, man. They're the 1%.
Dude,
Tax the rich.
This is so top-heavy for me. It makes me nervous because I always... When you have an op, you only usually end up in a situation like this when there's an op saved in the previous round and then you have pistols behind it. But now you have virtually the same thing after a W. And now Spirit moving ahead. Actually, Squadfic won that previous round. Squadfic with 2 Deegs. He got one of them a 1 Deeg, finishing off some very wounded players, it looks, but a long flank coming in. Esperanto wants to walk into this. Right now, he's telling everybody on the front end, especially Hunter, just hang tight. Let me get on the flank. Now he's got trigger discipline. Coldy turns around and says, that's too bad. Double headshot being a Galil, and it's Letney 1v3 now, but no chance to win this round unless he just delays it. There's 45 seconds, and I don't think he could delay this that long. Bomb's been planted. Now the ball's in Spirit's court.
No chance to win this round, he said, and we know what happens when a caster makes a prediction. Casters are generally wrong, so that's what we're going to hope for, because Letney wants to pull out a big old clutch. A 1v3 is going to be able to see a couple of players, but no one actually revealing themselves. No utility either from Letney. They're going to need some serious heroics, and he's going to need to pick up a fallen kit from somewhere if he's got one. I'm not sure if they bought a kit, though. With the way their buy went, I'd be very surprised if they'd managed to, but it seems like Letney's decided against any sort of heroics. He's decided to try and save the AWP next round for a chance for Auto to go ham, for a chance for Auto to just take control, because Spirit otherwise very, very close to equalizing once again. But Spirit still, that round came off the back of a beautiful headshot from Softic and a very lucky spray through the smoke from him subsequently afterwards. They're not looking like they're in control of the game whatsoever.
So this is what I was just talking about last round. This is usually where you see that setup. 1 op, 4 pistols. And Letney just missed the jump out a window to try and get up on the scaffolding in mid. So he commits to underpass. This round, you're so close to this corner. He's so nervous coming around that one. He sees nothing. So that's some intel at least reaped. And you can see the positioning from Valiance. They're really going for an all or nothing strategy right now. Now seeing that the round is telegraphed, they go for a boost, possibly over the smoke. It's really the Letney show. Where can this op get to make as much of an impact as possible?
Well, that impact is pretty much non-existent in this round at the very least. I mean, he's gotten 1 kill so far, but really doesn't matter. The bomb's already down. They've got full control. It doesn't seem like they should be able to get anything done. Next on Esperanto. They're just kind of hovering in the air, hovering in the wind, waiting for the enemies to really just close in on them. Chopper picks up the AWP, and that can be dropped over as well for Disbalance if they want that. He's not had such a fantastic game so far, though, I'm not going to lie. But at 13-13, this would be the time for him to show up big time.
13-all. And we got great rifles for both teams, though Valiance's utility is short. They favor their smokes. 5 smokes, 4 flashes, and that's it against the full kits of Spirit. I mean, those utility belts are stacked. So we get a very, very necessary timeout to talk about what happens in this round. And this is something where even though Team Spirit have the momentum, they have the control, they are at the helm, they could end up playing themselves in the instance that a timeout was just played. So they're going to think, well, Valiance is going to mix up their strategy. And if they mix something up, they could end up overthinking, over-leveling their opponent and making a mistake in their own court, which would be awful, of course. It would completely uproot all this momentum, and it would get in your own mind. Right now, they play very conservative, waiting to see if this new call from Valiance is something crazy, something that's just off the cuff, hyper-aggressive, but it's really not. You do have Auto that's at top mid pushed up, but really everywhere else, all your CTs are separated. It's a one-man show for everybody on Valiance's team right now.
Can they put up the show, though? That's always what you have to ask when there's these puggy teams which like to go for duels, which like to use their aim. What will you do when your aim fails you? And it seems like right now that's what is kind of happening. But Otto, you know what? Nothing fails this man as he pushes straight through with a flashbang to help him out. 2 quick kills, Esperanto with a third, and it seems like Spirit have very quickly revived the aim of Valiance that I was talking about earlier on. Some good pop flashes, some decent peaks as well, and you know what? There you go. Bob's your uncle. Softic with the bomb is going to be heading down towards mid as well.
Oh,
Someday
Esperanto,
with
good
him.
jump peek. He spotted a T in bottom mid too. His smoke's not the greatest, but it's good enough. In fact, Spirit are going to see that smoke a connector and just run catwalk quickly. Get in there, make it sloppy, and their entries are measured and left wanting. Letney is there to defend from the opposing side of the site. He did have the clock to his favor, so Spirit were making haste, and haste sometimes makes waste. So 14-3, Spirit's little short-spurted comeback seems to have met its match for the time being, but they still have cash. Round after round after round, they're able to purchase up something of value, and now they've got an op on Disbalance, everybody else with AKs.
Disbalance, the first one. Hunter goes down. Esperanto immediately responding. Someday Young, though, very, very dominant within mid. This round is his to command, and well, he is ruling over it with an iron thumb.
An iron what?
An iron thumb.
Iron tongue?
Thumb.
Thumb. Oh, with a B.
Yeah.
Thumb. Iron thumb.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I've heard green thumb. I've never heard iron thumb though. I've heard iron
No, no.
Kurt.
No, that's not what the saying is. It's with an iron fist. I
Iron
don't think it's
fist.
good enough
Thank
for a
you.
fist. I don't think it's good enough
get
for a
there
fist.
someday.
I don't think it's good enough for a fist, though. That's the point. That was the joke.
All right, so that was a really weird round for Valiance last. I mean, they all ran into mid, not all of them, but most of them ran into mid to try and get the trade, but they all ended up just walking in one at a time and dying. And we have ourselves Otto traded out. That was a big player for a big player, but only a big player on the previous map. Squadfic is actually not having a hot day here, and Spirit are very happy with that rate of exchange. They'll trade Squadfic for Otto all day, every day.
Especially with the game Softic's been having. Other than that one round where he got a few deagle kills, this is a very, very, very quiet performance from him. Off on Disbalance. This is the big round as well. If they can just get away with this one somehow or the other, they can at the very least guarantee overtime.
Got another OT. Don't you dare. You stay away. We've already done 4 OTs. I don't want to do any more.
We almost went to the 5th as well. It was a 1v1 in the end, I think. Hunter playing this corner. Nexa's going to be overwhelmed. The flames will end up pushing him into the enemy. Disbalance and Someday Young are both able to get one apiece, and now they're going to continue going forward. Esperanto from the side is going to do what he can, but his weapon is just not enough. 15-14, Spirit have put Valiance down on a force bite with 2k left. This could be a major upset. Valiance, such dominant favorites going into this game, but they have just seen haphazard in the second map, which was their own map pick as well.
Yeah. This is really good from Spirit. I mean, the lineup has changed a bit from the last time I've seen Team Spirit play, which I think was 2 seasons ago. It might have been when we went to Leicester, United Kingdom. Good time, good games, and even more so now. But look at this from Spirit. They're saying there will be no overtime. We've pushed you guys down to the absolute bottom of a barrel. Good luck with your MP7, Mag 7, Deagle with 7 bullets, and I can't make any other 7 reference for Nexa and Hunter, but they have poor weapons. It's going to be a hard day. Hard-fought battle for them.
I was about to point out that's an MP9, and then I realized there's also an MP7. Alright then. Fast-paced execute is probably not a good idea going into this kind of buy. They've got Mag 7s, they've got MP9s, which are very good at that close range dueling. Especially when T started to get jiggy with it, started to try and get a little bit too mobile. But on the other side, Letney waiting near apartments, but they're not going to risk that either. They're playing this perfectly, so they're going over towards the catwalk area, so they can still try and hit the A side if they want to, but the clock is ticking down very, very quickly, and if Esperanto can get himself a couple of deagle kills, then that could still be something to look forward to. Hunter now with a great grenade coming out, CZ with one, looking for more as well. That's a bomb that's been dropped already, and they've got the train of T's going over towards B, but Hunter is not done yet. Hunter's got 3, and now comes in the 2 versus 4. Coldy left alone, and Coldy's been brought down. Where Topical says that they can't get it done, he jinxes it, and Valiance just comes through with 1 that they needed for the overtime.
What? Who gets 3 kills with a CZ behind pillar on catwalk? Nobody does. Hunter, you madman. That was disgusting. And all the while, I think it was Letney above him in the apartments. I'm like, Letney's got actually a really good position for, even though it's a shotgun. Team Spirit's not going to expect a CT up in the apartments. This is going to work out. And then Hunter just keeps getting kills. Just unbelievable play from him. When his team needs him most, he goes absolutely ham. And we go into yet another overtime. I've explained it before. I'll explain it again. It is OT3, or OT3. Yeah, we're broken. It's MR3 16K. So the teams will stay on the sides that they ended the regulation on. They'll get $16,000 for 3 rounds, which is more than enough to buy whatever you want every round. So you're good to go. Money will be well spent. Both teams, having all this cash, almost have no reason not to play their hearts out. There's no reason to save at the end of the rounds. There's no reason not to retake. Go nuts. Play Counter-Strike. It comes down to the basis of 2 phases of these overtime rounds. There's the pre-plant and the post-plant. And that is really it. It's very simple. But both teams are able to afford up all the utility they want. They get to have clean executes. There's no force buy stuff. It's good. It's good, quality, juicy Counter-Strike. You're ready.
Am I?
Are we going into? Are we going to get another 50 bomb from Otto? Is that going to happen again?
No. Otto's not even on like 25 right now. I think that's the problem. I don't think he can make.
I think
it
you
50.
forget that we played 4 overtimes last map.
That is true, but he still had more. He ended the game with more kills than there were rounds of the game, though. So I'm just saying. Unless Otto goes like mega ham and they still somehow manage to lose that round, which would be very surprising. That looks pretty unlikely to me.
This is one of those days. In fact, ladies and gents, let's cut it to a quick music break before these teams ready up. I'm sure they need to take bio breaks. We need to take bio. Enjoy the tunes. We'll be right back for OT1 of map 2 after 4 OTs in map 1. Keep track. We'll be right back to watching that do.
You won't believe it, but it seems like the tunes weren't good enough, so we had to start the game a bit too soon. We're gonna hope the frags will be good enough. 15 to 15. If you're wondering why our music choice is terrible, it's because our producer has no taste in music whatsoever, and we didn't want to inflict you with that at all. Flashbangs to come through, utility deployed over towards A main. Otto peeks out wide and he knows there's a Molotov, so he can peek out quickly, and we said Otto might be going ham, and ham is what he is doing right now. Next up, peeks in again, so that will be a cleanup over towards the A side. 3 kills early on. Goldie and Disbalance, the only ones left, and well, you know what, Disbalance won't be left for very long. 1 versus 5, this is not a round I can see him being able to take away. Did Topical run away? Okay, I feel like Topical ran away for a second to get some water or something. Oh, okay.
No, I had to get some Mountain Dew. Did the match start as immediately as I said, let's take a...
Yeah, literally the second you said that.
Yeah, so there's a clip of that last season. I'm sure Misty has it somewhere, but I'm like, okay, whenever I say that we're going to cut it to music, they'll start. And it worked every time. They should have known.
Well, you know what they say. Nexa, ooh, nicely done. Aggression, aggression, aggression. Valiance, their trademark is finally being fulfilled as they seem to be completely in control, and we're wondering where this was in the first half. Now, keep on going through. But Spirit, this time they're not going for the immediate early aggression that they did in the previous round, so they aren't going to be punished as hard as they were before.
Oh boy. All right, we've lost Chopper, but we've got double op for Valiance and Co. One of the ops is in mid. That's Otto. He's a threat. Letney is on the other site. He's at the B end, and he's been hopping around. He actually played an aggro position. His op is going to be on a retake, which could be difficult because Spirit's about to attack the A site, so he's miles off. And Nexa's first point of contact spots the first. He'll drop a smoke, and he's panicking right now. The T's round the corner. He escapes with some excellent hopping, turning for 2. And the CTs win it. Nexa with the movement expertise. I believe Hunter actually ended up stealing one of those kills away from him. But the fact that he's able to make eye contact with a T, dump a smoke, dump a flashbang, then hop around the corner to turn around and defend himself, because the best defense is a good offense, in my opinion. That was awesome.
Nexa's like those girls I try to talk to. The second I make eye contact with them, they just run away, smoke me off, and well, end up killing me. Didn't quite go the way I thought it would. Not the best of analogies, but you know what? This balance, he's making up for it with his shots because he doesn't want to lose out just yet. 2 early entries with the AWP. What more could you ask for? And now Otto makes his way over, and Disbalance has already found his way into a place where he can immediately stop Otto from coming through. If Otto hesitates even a little bit, if Otto doesn't jump across, this should be an easy kill for them. Esperanto coming in from short. 3 versus 5 with Esperanto being very low, with Otto being in a very difficult position to take down. Esperanto's gone as well. Now Otto in a 1 versus 5, and that will be depleted very soon. He smokes off his angle. But Disbalance is there on the other side, gets a shot, but no, never mind, actually missing it. Instead, Otto will be trying to fight this off. Backs off to safety, and safety is where Coldie's waiting, loving arms are. 17-16. Valiance will go to second overtime without their complete 3 rounds.
All right, so you know what that means is when overtimes end up going to 1 or 1-2, you have far more opportunities for another overtime. just gonna go out there and give everybody the statistics. What is it? I don't actually. That'd actually be a really good statistic to find out. If OTs end up 2-1-1-2. What's that?
Are you Nahaz?
Oh yeah, the big number cruncher. I'm obsessed with numbers like that.
Really? Okay.
Oh, dude. I actually was looking to get tattoos of various equations lately. Still looking to do that.
How much would it suck if those equations were disproven?
As a matter of fact, that would be amazing because that's science. Science is awesome that it could actually change. You know, that tattoo would get even better because then I'd put a line through that tattoo and I'd write the next equation. That's what science is all about.
That's also what terrible relationships are about.
Jenny
write down
crossed
one name.
out. Jamie crossed out. Jessica. You got a thing with girls with J names, don't you?
Yeah. 17-16. Valiance don't have any J's in any of their names, and neither does Team Spirit, which would explain why Topical kept running away.
That's exactly right.
4 AUGs coming through. It's like we're back in the previous patch. I suppose that's one of the big advantages of having 16k. You can go for all the AUGs all the days.
Make it sound like it's a lifting routine. Today's AUG day. Gotta be picking up the AUG.
Yeah.
I hope that the AUG does get nerfed a bit. I feel like full auto while scoped should not be a thing. I feel like the gun should be switched to semi-auto while scoped.
That's not nerfing a bit. That's completely removing it from the echelons of Counter-Strike. But speaking of removal from the echelons of Counter-Strike, there goes Hunter.
Yeah, let's see you put your eye up on a scope and fire a fully automatic weapon.
We
see
don't
how
do
well
guns
those bullets
here.
go down range.
And by here, I mean the rest of the world.
Right, yeah. Well, Nexa is up in the palace. The bomb is in A main. Meanwhile, our number 6 and our number 9, Esperanto and Letny, are both at bottom mid, clambering over one another to be able to get possibly into a window boost. It's going to be an A strike, one way or the other, and it's going to come down to really the next frag. If Valiance and Co. don't get that frag, and they are the ones to take damage, they are in a world of hurt. There it is. Letny, late lurk. He fails to jump into the window unless it was intentional. He'll come back across and join Comrade in Arms into Connector. Their backside is clear for right now, but pushing through the smoke is Some Die Young. He hesitates for the time being. He hears Letny popping off on his teammates, so he has some confidence to come through that, and he'll now follow suit. Letny beneath him, blind as a bat. Coldy gets the first. Some Die Young gets the next, and it is all even. Broadside, even Steven, 17 all.
And so much of that round comes down to the fact that Coldy is able to take down Nexa when he was just inching through, and Coldy had the discipline to wait long enough for Nexa to actually face away from him. So he got the easy first kill, which allowed him to actually keep himself alive for long enough for the second one in the end as well. 17-17 could very well end up being a similar situation as to what we've seen in the past, but I'm not going to name it just in case. Chopper, all got the ready. Waiting for the slow peek to come through from Esperanto. He's got the range advantage, but Esperanto with the firepower on the AK-47, but firepower is non-existent when you've got yourself an AUG. He wasn't even scoped in, so you can't complain about that either. Hunter, 70 HP, barely getting away from that Molotov. That could have been problematic if he went into the smoke and was spotted out. That's where it's an easy kill for the Team Spirit side. Team Spirit, though, Chopper is very low, and they don't have much utility on many of their players except for Disbalance. A minute on the clock means that there's a lot of time for them to work with, and Coldy, playing that close range angle this time around, should again be in a position to shut down Nexa if he wants to push through. But this bomb is looking a little bit indecisive. Letny hasn't committed anywhere just quite yet.
Well, they've got Otto above him. He boosted Otto up, and they used the time they had. They smoked off Connector. They put Otto here, as well as the Letny beneath him. Nexa gets that kill. Nice jump. What a shot from Otto from the top rope. He comes off the boost box and dials it in on Squatlick, who's just had an awful day so far in Mirage. It has been tough, and the cards never fall in his direction. Valiance and Co. with a very neat execution, very rapid play into that B site, which is a difficult site to get into. Leaving Disbalance alone, 1v4, no chance for the retake. But again, like I said, there's more money than you need. They could do damage, but really it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, there's no way he's getting into this site. He's in fact been surrounded already. I'm really surprised Valiance and Co. actually abandoned the B site for the most part. They don't need to hunt him. This is just, I guess, the red tape. You know, they just still want to fight each other.
18-17. Team Spirit are hoping and praying for a second overtime. They're hoping and praying for the same situation that was in the first game. And they've gone for the exact same buy. No double op setup this time around either. Seems like every day is AUG day.
Never skip AUG day.
Never skip AUG day. That's what CSGO pros learned when the AUG was nerfed by $200. It's like when you finally start posting pictures of your gym, and then you realize everyone's calling you out for having no legs. That's what the pro scene was like. Beautiful shot from Disbalance. So that's a great way to start things off to try and go towards that second overtime. Being able to find that first player down in mid who was trying to just jump up and smoke that off, especially, that's also very negligent, honestly, when you think about it, because you can smoke off window without having to jump at all. So that's always something where you have to kind of consider it.
Otto, which has really been the wrecking ball for Valiance all night, is leading the way into the B site right now. However, he's the leader of none. Nobody's behind him right now. The bomb and everything else is going over towards the A site. Otto is just trying to make himself seem big, bad, mean monster. Instead, he doubles back. He'll go underneath the underpass. Luckily enough, nobody's above him to be able to hear this rotation quickly, so still Team Spirit hesitate on their rotation. Disbalance. One right through the knee of Letney. And a fantastic grenade. 100 damage dealt to Nexa and Hunter almost in total as the T's make their way into the site. There's nothing to speak of here. They're running out of time. 8 seconds left, and it's just Nexa, and he's in no man's land. It's 18 all. We go
double overtime. We've been here
again.
before, and we're gonna be here again.
Would you say
and now?
How even would you say these two teams are?
Honestly, I'm really pleasantly surprised by Spirit, and I'm also slightly questioning Valiance because I feel like Nexa, who's generally a Nexa and to some extent Hunter, but to a lesser extent Hunter, because Hunter plays more of just like the Zipnix role. Nexa's not been performing the way I'm used to seeing him perform in either one of these maps. I feel like if he shows up, then this is a very, very different game.
Who? Swatfik?
No, Nexa.
Oh, Nexa. Well, right,
Yeah,
like right now, in my eyes, there's low-hanging fruit, and Team Spirit are able to put up good numbers. Scottfic has, like, I don't know, only a couple rounds ago, he had 9 kills. 9 kills after regulation and overtime, and that's not because he like reconnected into the server. He was like 9 and 22 when I looked, so he's been there the whole time. That's low-hanging fruit. All he needs to do is perform a little bit better, and you only need a little bit more to be able to tip the scales. So I think that's the lowest hanging fruit, is if Squatfic can actually wake up a bit. But we're into the next overtime. Already 2 kills have come into play. Chopper and Disbalance both marking another one into the buttstock of their rifle. Disbalance sends a warning shot over the top of Letney, who will be traded out. Costs Chopper his life, but it might just be water under the bridge, having a 2-4 disadvantage to Valiance, though they're making something of it.
Beautiful shot from Somda Young. He was able to spot a Hunter earlier as well. And that leaves Nexa alone versus 3. Bomb will be in his control, but for how long is Somda Young will be moving through. He's heard the footsteps as well, so he knows exactly. Oh my god, Nexa, how'd you get that shot? Where have you been all day long? He's got 2 kills, and what? I'm just saying the second one was a beauty. But now comes the beast. Spirit with 2 of these players know exactly where he is. They're trying to pincer him in. Disbalance as well going. Perfect play, man. Disbalance as well, just going over towards Palace just in case Nexa wants to go there. That's, of course, his comfortable place to be as well. And if a worst case scenario, if he tries to go and plant the bomb down, Disbalance is in a great position to not be checked. Generally speaking, you're not going to be expecting that. And that's a very valuable thing as an AWP player in particular. Softic too, making his way over towards A, and because Nexa is just wasting so much time, but Nexa is checking every angle, and he's got the shot. That's beautiful stuff from him. And remember, he's got himself a Molotov as well. Softic's coming in from behind. He's making a lot of noise, but will he be noticed? Nexa's going to be running right into him. Nexa! Where you've got yourselves the perfect calls, the perfect reads immediately after you end up getting played.
Yeah, I mean, he made such a beautiful read to recognize to clear Palace, and like that is above and beyond the Call of Duty. Like that's, you can't ask somebody to know that. Like that's such a good clean call, but he expected that next player to be coming off of the B site rather than being so close, and that's what was his undoing was. So just a tough break. Squatfic ends up with a 1v1 clutch, and maybe that's enough. I was talking about Squatfic just waking up a little bit, and they'd be able to pick up this match.
He's had a few important rounds here and there, but you're right, the frags aren't really there to the same extent as you'd really like that to be the case. But Valiance, Esperanto has been quiet as well since he disconnected. He hasn't gotten a single kill so far. Now, he wasn't doing too badly earlier on, but the past few rounds hasn't been particularly special. And this is where they're kind of hoping that he can step up, because down 20 to 18, that's a completely different pressure from being 19-19, even if the end result might be very similar. Hunter retrieving the bomb, positioning himself for a little bit more control over towards mid, more likely than not. The bomb is, though, missed out by his teammates, and that means that they're going to be using a bit more time. And with 55 seconds left on the clock, this is kind of worrying that no one has the bomb right now. And I know Nex is going to go back and pick it, But generally speaking, oh god. See, this is problematic because generally speaking, you want to have the bomb at 50 seconds and you want to at least have an idea of where you're going. Right now, they're going to be waiting until 35 to pick up the bomb. Actually, Nexa's not even doing anything particularly useful in the meanwhile, so he could have picked that up. He wasn't keeping an eye out anywhere. He wasn't looking out for any pushes or anything. Valiance is showing massive disarray, and this could come back to bite them, especially with Softek in this angle. He's got a perfect shot over here, but he misses them, and that will be problematic. Chopper instead has to step up, and he's stepping up indeed. He's large and in charge. Otto responds, and it's a 2 versus 2.
Oh, what a turn! Disbalance, gonna try and stop the bomb plant. That's all he needs to do right now. 4 seconds, there's no chance. Team Spirit have bodies in X.
Oh!
And a nice little no-scope flick, but at the end of the day, there's no way Otto could have won that round regardless. 20-18 is our score line. Team Spirit looking to take the W as best as they can, as cleanly as they can. This is... I'm lost. OT2, right?
This is OT2, yeah.
Okay. And we're into the 3rd round of the first half?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so
we don't talk semantics here. Okay?
First, I got to figure out who's gonna win. If it's the first to 22, it's Team Spirit still have a little bit of road ahead of them, but Valiance and Co have made pretty good strides. Still, just got a chance.
This is a big round for them, though. I mean, I can't see Spirit not able to get a single round on their terrorist side, so Valiance has to, at the very least, struggle through with this one. This is where you really want Esperanto to be the star player that he is, to really start to step up. If he can go aggressively into a site and just take control, that would be lovely, but unfortunately he's been brought down and disbalanced again and again. He's finding these beautiful kills, playing from mid, and now he might be caught off actually. Otto has a chance and he will capitalize off of it as he has before time and time again. Samdai Young brought down as well to his knees as the flames will devour him, but Nexa will be the one to finish him off. Coldy, beautiful few shots, 9 HP or not, he's more than welcome, more than willing to take that duel versus the AWP, and Softa getting one as well leaves Hunter alone versus 3. This could be the first perfect overtime half we've seen all series long.
Right. But this is tough for Hunter. I mean, again, like you'd said the previous round, the bomb was left back. So no matter what, if they manage to take that site, somebody has to leave that site to go get the bomb, who may or may not, bomb might be defended by the CTs at that point. You don't know. It's going to waste some time, and you weaken the front line of the site that you just, all the while the CT's trying to retake that. So I mean, it's tough when you don't have the responsibilities in hand to be able to take one of those sites. Team Spirit come out on top of the perfect first half of OT2, map 2. Just one more round to tap it in, and they can take that W. Right now, Valiance & Co. looks like somebody disconnected. They'll be right back, hopefully so. And I mean, I don't blame these guys. These computers are getting hot, man. This has been a long series for just 2 maps.
You know what, though? Unfortunately, never mind. He's back. I was just about to throw it to music. Nah. Never mind. I'm not doing what you did.
That's how you do it. You say, let's go to music, and they start playing. It works 10 out of 10 times.
I'm tempted to try this one out, honestly. Just to see whether or not... I don't even need to go take a break or anything. I'm ready and pumped to go, but...
Well, I'll always make excuses. If you call it to music and it doesn't work, then it only works for me.
All right. Let's see. That's the process of elimination. Let's take it to music. We'll be back very soon with the second half of the second OT time. He's a genius, he's a scientist, he's a caster. What can this man not do? Topical, how do you do it? We're back into the second half, and can Valiance do it is the question, because they don't have Topical in their team.
Dude, I've been in this game too long. I just know, I know the rules of the Counter-Strike universe. If you call for music, the player's ready up. It's just clockwork, dude. Season after season. All right. Again, Team Spirit. We are into, what, the 40th round right now? They only need this 40th round, and they're good to go. And they've already got a great entry. Samdai Young is leading the way. He's into the breach. Squadfic will now carry the baton after that trade. He's heavily wounded. You've got still Hunter, I believe, that's back there and pushing through the smoke, sacrificing his body for not for anything. It's Nexa and Otto left alone, doubled in their numbers. Nexa doing damage, looking for the kill. He does get it. Almost catches one disarmed out there as well, but it's going to be all up to Otto. What an amazing match so far, and if anybody can pull off this clutch, it's this man. But instead, his heart will stop beating on Catwalk, and Team Spirit come out with a 2-0 victory. After what? How many rounds did we play? We played 50-some in the first. We played 40 in the second. We played near 100 rounds over 2 maps.
Okay, listen. So here's the thing. We say it's a 2-0 victory, but really it's not. It's not a 2-0 victory. It's nowhere near as one-sided as calling it a 2-0 victory would imply, alright? Now, this game can be summarized into this, alright? I cast EU, he casts NA. We combined the worst out of each region and got the best out of them as well, and that's what the game was as well, let's be real.
Yeah, that was
there
a
were
fantastic
some
series.
questionable plays coming through, but at the end of the day, the experience was amazing. And you know what? I would probably not do it again because too much of a good thing is bad for you. And you know, that's what they say. That being said, any parting words, Topical?
Yeah, ladies and gents, if you enjoyed the cast or if you hated the cast, let us know on our Twitters. You can type in !casters. I'm sure someone else will do that for you in chat. You can just click the stuff, give us a follow, give us feedback. We appreciate. Am I having a heart attack? Move your hands. No, I'm actually being held prisoner right now. I have to be absolutely still. My lower body is covered in scorpions, and I'm
pretty much
forced to cast.
That's the only way we could get him to sit down throughout both of those games. That said, though, thank you to all of you who sat down through both of those games. That felt more like 4 and, well, went by as quick as 1. That being said, we're going to be off tea time, Topical, and we're signing out. Thank you for watching.